How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its end of the year sale, and there's a ton of great stuff that is being discounted. Wanted to highlight some deals under $20. It seems like when I get to the under $20 threshold, I can actually mention some stuff that we don't talk about quite often. A lot of the stuff here I have mentioned every now and again, but there's definitely some good stuff under 20 bucks, and I think at this range you can definitely pick up some quality stuff. There's a lot of stuff under $20 that I thought was quite good, and we got 10 games on this list. Might do another one, and definitely will eventually get around to games that are a little bit more expensive. I just always work my way up as far as price thresholds go. But with that being said, and let's start things off with the Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, 60% off for $13.99. Now, I have my opinions about this game. Was I very much disappointed with FF15? Oh, you damn right I was, because I've been following this game, or I was following this game for a decade when it was Final Fantasy Versus 13, and you're talking about, like, when this game was revealed, I must have been like 11, 12 years old, and I was like super excited for it, and just following it for a decade. Obviously at that age your mind just goes crazy, and you're like, this is gonna be the greatest game ever, and then it gets re-revealed, it gets renamed, and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna do it, they're gonna drop the best Final Fantasy game ever, and my expectations were crazy. And then ultimately it came out disjointed story, an abrupt ending, and that was really the issue with FF15. The story was just completely all over the place. The Royal Edition does help tie things together with the DLC content included. I would recommend you to watch Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15, but you know, the strengths of FF15, the incredible visuals, the combat system, the open world to explore, those elements are actually really strong, and given that you're paying $14, you're going in with tempered expectations, it runs great on PlayStation 5. At this price point, I think it's a great pickup, and I would say check it out. It's just, whenever I talk about FF15, I gotta go on my diatribe, because this is a game that, you know, I was just so looking forward to. And for me, it didn't live up to my expectations, but my expectations were sky high, so take that for what you will. Next up, we got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the Deluxe Edition, which is 77% off for $19.54. This gets you DBZ Kakarot as well as the DLC. The Season Pass is in here. Now, Season Pass 1 is in here. You don't get Season Pass 2, which Season Pass 2 dropped earlier this year and included the Bardock episode and the World Tournament episode. Season Pass 1, however, does give you some Dragon Ball Super stuff, and it gives you the alternate timeline Trunks story, you know, like Trunks and Future Gohan versus the androids and all that stuff, which is a nice episode to go through. But DBZ Kakarot itself is an awesome game. It's a great retelling of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, it's got some, like, cut-out elements that I found were kind of jarring, but overall, the game is great, and it's got a ton of content. $19.54 for this is excellent. I wish that CyberConnect 2 and Bandai Namco, the powers that be, would give Naruto the DBZ Kakarot treatment, because after playing Storm Connections, that game is such a lazy release that, man, can we get some nicer for Naruto fans, like a Naruto Kakarot? Obviously, that doesn't make any sense, but I don't know, the Naruto Uzumaki story. Title it whatever the hell you want. Just do exactly what you did with Kakarot and do it for Naruto, and, you know, that's a license to print money, but, yeah, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Probably will, since ever is a long time. But next up, we got Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, 60% off for $19.99. RE Village is an awesome game, one of my top games of 2021. This includes the base game as well as the Winter's expansion, kind of, you know, tying up that story thread really nicely. Resident Evil Village also does have a VR component. If you want to play the game in VR, that's an option. But the game itself, the DLC, 20 bucks, that's a great pickup. Resident Evil is never going to be the lengthiest game in the world, but it is super replayable, so you'll probably go back and play it a couple times. Obviously, would recommend you to play Resident Evil 7 Biohazard before you play Village, but that's just my 2 cents. Next up, we got the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition, 60% off for $19.99. I'm always gonna be a fanboy for Skyrim. Skyrim's one of my favorite games of all time, and maybe some people don't vibe with Bethesda games as strongly as I sometimes do, but then again, I didn't love Fallout 4, and I like Starfield, but definitely didn't like it as much as Skyrim. And Skyrim is a game, maybe it's the setting, maybe it's the random dragon fights, I don't know, it just did it for me. The Anniversary Edition gives you all the DLC as well, upgraded on PlayStation 5, runs pretty well on there, and Skyrim's a game I feel like I could always go back to. I feel like most of you guys probably played it on the PlayStation 3, If you skipped out on the PS4 version, maybe picking it up on the PS5 is going to be worthwhile to revisit the game. For 20 bucks, I think it's a pretty good buy. Next up, we got Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, 60% off for $19.99. This includes Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. Lost Legacy is a standalone expansion that's more of like a smaller experience, kind of that Miles Morales type of experience that Spider-Man had. Uncharted 4, I think, is really good. It's actually probably like my second favorite Uncharted game behind Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 4 from a visual standpoint is phenomenal. Technically speaking, this game is tremendous. I know some people were down on a lot of the story elements of the game, and yeah, some of the nonsensical twists and turns I found like to be like, alright bro, like come on now. Like some aspects I definitely understand why people were down on it, but from a gameplay standpoint, I thought it was great. The puzzles were pretty well done, and overall still a game I would strongly recommend. A little bit lengthier than the other Uncharted games, and you know, this is a franchise that has been dormant for quite a while. I feel like it's still got some legs to it. You can do a lot with Uncharted, but I do think it was a good idea that they took a break after Lost Legacy. You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I'm sure Uncharted will see another release at some point, probably a couple years away still, but by the end of this generation, I would hope that we get another Uncharted game, and hopefully that will come to fruition. Next up, we got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Next Level Edition, 75% off for $17.49. Now, I've been pretty vocal that this isn't my favorite game, but this is one where I have to be kind of objective that if you do like the Borderlands style gameplay, you're gonna end up enjoying this game. And $70 was way too much, but 17 and change, okay. At that price point, Tiny Tina Wonderlands, I think is a pretty good buy. I wasn't crazy about like the board game gimmick attached to this game, and it's a fairly short game as well. Definitely has some replayability and optional content and things of the sort, but at $17.50, this is a price point I can recommend the game at, even if it wasn't totally my cup of tea. It might be a case of the Borderlands style just getting away from me, but I actually just reinstalled Borderlands 1, and I'm gonna give that another playthrough, so I'll circle back with you guys if that gameplay loop is still something I enjoy, and I probably will enjoy Borderlands 1. I mean, come on, Borderlands 1 and 2 were tremendous, and Tiny Tina's is still a good game. It's just Borderlands 1 and 2 I thought were absolutely elite, and I didn't feel that way about Wonderlands, but still worthwhile to check out. Next up, we got Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, 60% off for 16 bucks. DMC5 is awesome. What a fast-paced action game with an awesome soundtrack. Yo, the only thing I need to do to sell you on DMC5 is go on YouTube, look up Devil Trigger, just listen to that song, and that's all you need for me to sell you on that game. That is legitimately all you need. The gameplay itself is great. I'm not crazy about the DMC narrative, but you know, some people are super into that, and for $16, if you want a fast-paced action game, it doesn't get much better than DMC5. Next up, we got Death Stranding Director's Cut, 60% off for $19.99. What an expansive game Death Stranding is that I understand is absolutely not gonna be for everyone, but Death Stranding is one of those games that I really feel like pushes gaming as a medium forward, and it tries a lot of unique things. Does all of it land? No, but I think from a narrative standpoint, it is incredibly compelling. The world design is so detailed, and the director's cut does extend the experience quite a bit. I am a big fan of Norman Reedus as well. Daryl is my favorite character in The Walking Dead, so obviously I might be a little bit biased towards it, but for $19.99, Death Stranding is a great pickup, and for this version of the game, I think that's a good buy. Next up, we got the Middle-earth Shadow Bundle. This includes Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor as well as Shadow of War. The definitive editions on both of those, solid open-world action titles, really well made. I wish they would get full-on PlayStation 5 upgrades, but as I often say, we can't always have nice things, and for what you're getting here, $10.49, great pickup there. Next up, we got Digimon Survive, 67% off for $19.79. Now, this game is absolutely not gonna be for everyone. I think a lot of people bought this game because it was the Digimon IP. A lot of people are nostalgic towards that. However, this game is primarily a visual novel, and I feel like a lot of people found that to be jarring, but it does have a tactics gameplay style to it, but that is a small fraction of the game. Maybe 25 to 30% of the game is that, and the rest is really more of a visual novel, some exploration elements in terms of, you know, point and click and things of that, nothing crazy, but the story is incredibly compelling, and I think for sub 20 bucks, it's a good buy. Just know what you're getting yourself into, and then you'll probably enjoy the game quite a bit. And then lastly, do want to give a shout to Chained Echoes. It is 25% off for $18.74. With PlayStation Plus, you can get it for $17.49. If you are a fan of throwback JRPGs, it does not get much better than Chained Echoes. The writing in this game is pretty good, the story is good, characters are pretty good, battle system is enjoyable. It's just a really well done throwback JRPG that knows the audience it's going after and then excels at that. Visual style, it's gonna be something a lot of people dig, some people not so much, but if you know what you're getting yourself into with Chained Echoes as well, you're gonna really enjoy the game, and if you're a fan of JRPGs, kind of a must-play. A lot of people thought it was a game that should have been up for Game of the Year awards and things like that. The issue is it came out in December of last year. At that point, a lot of people are finalizing their nominees and whatnot, so it is what it is, but excellent game, $17.49, great pickup. And that'll do it for me. Again, a ton of great deals available on the PlayStation Store, sub $20. Check them out in the description box below. I'll have the links listed there. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.